Hi, today is December 13th, Saturday, December 13th, 2025, and this is part of my video journal of my recovery from watching my little brother, Paul Kierans, 64, with Down syndrome, be locked up by the British Columbia New Democratic Party government, David Eby as leader, for 588 days. 172 missed scheduled visits before he had a stroke and died. So where we're at right now is Paul was locked away. Just to briefly explain the background, Paul was locked up and our visits were terminated permanently after 64 years of visiting at will when I complained to the Burnaby RCMP after I discovered that Paul's government taxpayer-funded group home had secretly created a power of attorney called a representation agreement appointing my then 82-year-old Catholic nun sister 4,000 kilometers away in Ontario, who'd only met Paul a few times in her life, as Paul's guardian without telling any of his other siblings. He had 6 surviving siblings at that time. The document, in my opinion, is a fraud and a forgery. It's a fraud because Paul wasn't capable of choosing a guardian, and it's a forgery because I taught him the only word he could ever print or read, and that's his first name, Paul. So they locked Paul away, and I did everything I could think of legally, lawfully, civilly to restore, and by reporting this document, to restore our visits. I wasn't able to do that. I wasn't allowed to visit Paul in person until after he had a stroke and he was nonverbal. I was allowed to visit him at the Burnaby General when in March of 2024. So that Paul was locked away on September 12th of 2022. And then in March of 2024, when the nun found out that she was informed by the Burnaby RCMP, they tipped her off that they had been ordered by Ottawa to reopen the investigation into the fraudulent and forged representation agreement. She applied to the court to have me declared a vexatious litigant. It's a very rare and unusual designation in Canada, which takes away the person's access to the Canadian courts. And she was successful. There was a 4-day hearing in November, 6 months after Paul died, in November of 2024. And the judge designated me permanently a vexatious litigant. So I can't even respond to cases against me. I can't file anything with the court without permission of a judge. So the normal access to the courts that every Canadian has, even those ostriches had, I don't have. I applied for permission to appeal that designation to the Supreme Court of Canada. It has to be an issue of national importance, which I think taking away someone's access to justice and the Canadian courts certainly is an issue of national importance. Still haven't heard back from the Supreme Court of Canada. So that's where we're at right now. I'm just waiting. They had apparently lost, I'd filed some documents in September and they had apparently misplaced them. They thought they were waiting for them. And I let them know. I resent the documents and let them know they had them. So that's where we're at right now. But I'm just on my way back. I'm doing my 10,000 steps and I'm on my way back from my Weight Watcher meeting in Maple Ridge. And I'm thinking of a few things to do with food, because when you're on Weight Watchers, you're pretty much thinking about food all the time. It's our addiction. We were talking about Christmas foods and, why Christmas is such a difficult time for people. And in my family, the Christmas food that I think of the most, or that to me means Christmas, is tourtière. So tourtière is a French-Canadian meat pie. And the significance of that is I'm Irish Quebecer. I'm an Irish Quebecer. And my ancestors on the maternal, both sides, were people from Ireland who landed in Quebec. And for my mother, on Christmas Eve, she would always make tortillere. So I don't even speak French. My mother spoke French. And my dad grew up in Montreal. And he didn't speak French. But tortillere was our Christmas food. And it made me think of how the people of Quebec, the Francophones in Quebec, saved Irish people. It was just a few years ago that some human bones were washed up on the St. Lawrence River. And when they did an analysis of them, they discovered that they were Irish children who had died. And my grandfather built a memorial on Grosse Ile. So the customs drop off for people from Ireland in Quebec around the time of the Irish potato famine, what the Irish call An Gorta Mór, or the big hunger. The people of Quebec, the Francophones, took in the Irish and saved us on both sides of my family. My maternal ancestors are from a place called Quyon, Quyon, across the river from Ottawa. The family farm, it's the Mulligan family farm. It's 175 years old. Actually, it'd be more than, I think it's 195 years old now. So my maternal ancestors landed in Quyon, and my great-great-grandfather, David Mulligan, was a pilot on the Ottawa River. And my paternal ancestors landed in Vermont. My grandfather, Thomas Mulligan, landed in Vermont, but he settled in Montreal, and he became the chairman of the Montreal Transit Commission. He spoke perfect French, Irish, and English without an accent. Brilliant man. Anyway, so when everybody was thinking or talking about their favorite foods in White Watchers today, I was thinking about it. There's only one, and it's tortillere, which my mother used to make. Anyways, that's what I was thinking about today. If you want to help in this quest for justice with regards to my poor little brother, Paul Kierans, you can call the registry. I'll put the number in the description box for this video. Call the Supreme Court of Canada registry on Monday morning and ask what's the status of my application for leave to appeal or permission to appeal my designation as a vexatious litigant. That's all you have to do. Or you can contribute to our GoFundMe. There's going to be filing fees, photocopying fees. I've spent every penny that I have or can borrow on this litigation because it is of national importance. So whatever you can kick in, if you want to contribute, I just had my 70th birthday this past Tuesday, December 9th. If you want to kick in a late birthday present for me or an early Christmas present, please contribute to our GoFundMe account. Anything you could spare. It's the spirit of it. Really gives me a lift and helps me keep up the fight. I've contacted every news agency that I can think of, and they're not the slightest bit interested, although they're interested in these 300 ostriches. No one was interested in my poor little brother, Paul Kierans, the most precious, angelic, perfect human being, never hurt anybody, never hurt a fly, and he was locked away in his group home by these evildoers. David Eby, I'm talking to you. Take care, everyone. I love you all.